There's a category of used vehicle that almost nobody outside the industry pays attention to. And that's exactly why it's still possible to find genuine bargains in a market where everything else feels overpriced. These are former fleet vehicles, specifically the ones that used to belong to police departments, government agencies, and municipal fleets. And if you know what you're looking at, they're some of the most bulletproof, mechanically sound vehicles you can buy for next to nothing. Here's why this matters. A normal used car, bought from a random private seller, comes with a question mark hanging over it. You don't know if the oil was changed on time. You don't know if it sat for months with a dead battery or got driven hard by a teenager who never checked the fluids. Fleet vehicles erase almost all of that uncertainty. They were maintained on strict, mandatory schedules because lives depended on them running correctly every single day. Skipping maintenance on a police car isn't an option. It's not negotiable, which means by the time these vehicles hit public auctions, they come with a maintenance history that puts most privately owned cars to shame. Let's start with the Ford Police Interceptor Utility, built between 2013 and 2018. This is essentially a heavily reinforced, mechanically upgraded version of the Ford Explorer, built specifically to survive years of constant idling, high-speed pursuits, and stop-and-go patrol driving. Under the hood, you're often looking at a beefed-up cooling system, upgraded brakes, reinforced suspension components, and a transmission calibrated for durability rather than comfort. These were never built to be soft or fragile. They were built to survive abuse. And because most departments rotate their fleets out after a set number of years, regardless of mileage, you can find these units with surprisingly low miles for their age, sitting in surplus auctions criminally underpriced, often well under that $12,000 mark once the auction dust settles. Next, the Chevy Impala fleet model, produced from 2014 through 2019. This one doesn't get nearly as much attention as the flashier SUVs, but that's part of the appeal. It's a full-size sedan with a naturally aspirated V6, simple to work on, cheap to maintain, and incredibly forgiving mechanically. Fleet versions of the Impala were stripped of unnecessary luxury trim, which sounds like a downside until you realize it means fewer electronic components to fail down the road. Less to break means less to repair. These cars were workhorses for taxi services, government offices, and patrol departments who needed something reliable, not flashy. Today, they're often overlooked at auction in favor of trucks and SUVs, which keeps their prices artificially low for buyers who actually understand what they're getting. Then there's a true classic in the fleet world, the Ford Crown Victoria P71, built between 2010 and 2012, right at the tail end of its production run. If you've ever wondered why taxi companies and police departments relied on the Crown Victoria for decades, it comes down to one simple fact. This car refuses to die. Body-on-frame construction, a simple, heavy-duty V8, and a transmission that was essentially unchanged for years because it didn't need fixing. These cars were engineered during an era when manufacturers prioritized longevity and serviceability over flashy tech features. Parts are everywhere. Mechanics know them inside and out. And because production ended in 2012, the remaining P71 units on the market are essentially the final, most refined versions of a design that had already been perfected over a decade of real-world abuse. Moving on to the Ford Expedition SSV, the special service vehicle variant, built from 2012 to 2017. This is the fleet world's answer to needing serious towing capacity and interior space without sacrificing the durability of a patrol-grade vehicle. Government agencies use these for everything from canine units to emergency response teams, which means they were built with upgraded electrical systems to handle constant auxiliary equipment, reinforced frames, and towing packages most private buyers would pay thousands extra to add aftermarket. When these come off government contracts, the equipment racks and light bars get stripped out, but the mechanical bones, the part that actually costs money to engineer, remained completely intact. Buyers who track these surplus listings regularly find Expeditions priced like they're a decade older than they actually are, simply because most shoppers don't know to look in this corner of the used vehicle market. And finally, the Chevy Tahoe PPV, the police pursuit vehicle version, produced from 2013 to 2018. If you want a full-size SUV with real towing capacity, a proven V8, and a suspension system designed to handle high-speed maneuvering without falling apart, this is one of the most underrated options sitting in surplus lots right now. These Tahoes were specifically engineered with upgraded brakes, heavy-duty alternators, and reinforced frames to handle the demands of pursuit driving and long idle times. Police departments don't gamble on unreliable vehicles for high-stakes situations, which is exactly why these PPV models went through rigorous testing before ever being approved for fleet use. When they're decommissioned, often well before they're mechanically worn out, they end up in government surplus auctions, where bidders who don't recognize the PPV badge let them go for a fraction of what a comparable civilian Tahoe would cost. So why does this entire category stay under the radar? Mostly because buying a fleet vehicle isn't as simple as scrolling through a typical used car listing site. These vehicles often move through government surplus auctions, municipal liquidation sales, and specialized fleet remarketing companies, places the average car shopper never thinks to check. There's a small learning curve involved in figuring out where these auctions happen and how the bidding process works, but that small barrier to entry is precisely why the deals are still out there. The moment something becomes easy and well-known, prices climb. Fleet vehicles have stayed quietly affordable because most buyers simply don't know this market exists. There's also a psychological hurdle some buyers can't get past: the idea of owning a former police car. But strip away the image of sirens and light bars, and what you're actually left with is a vehicle that underwent more rigorous mechanical demands and stricter maintenance enforcement than almost anything you'd find from a private seller. The badge gets removed, the equipment gets stripped, and what remains is simply a well-built, well-maintained machine that happened to spend its working life in government service instead of someone's driveway. For buyers who do their homework, check service records when available, and know which auctions and surplus dealers to trust, this category represents one of the last genuinely underpriced corners of the used vehicle market. Police interceptors, fleet sedans, pursuit-rated SUVs, all of them built tougher than their civilian counterparts, all of them maintained on schedules most private owners wouldn't dream of following, and all of them quietly sitting on lots waiting for someone who actually understands what they're looking at. Let's talk specifics for a moment, because the numbers here are what actually make this category worth your time. A retail buyer shopping for a comparable civilian Ford Explorer or Chevy Tahoe with similar mileage might expect to pay anywhere from $18,000 to $25,000 depending on trim and condition. Compare that to a police interceptor utility or Tahoe PPV moving through a surplus auction for $6,000 to $11,000, and the gap becomes impossible to ignore. That's not a small discount. That's sometimes less than half of what the civilian equivalent costs for a vehicle that arguably went through tougher engineering standards to begin with. The math only works because so few buyers are looking in this direction, which keeps competition at these auctions thinner than you'd expect for vehicles this well built. So where do these auctions actually happen? This is the part most people get stuck on, because fleet vehicles don't usually show up on the same listing sites as a typical used car. Government surplus auctions are run at the city, county, state, and federal level, and many municipalities now run them online through dedicated surplus auction platforms rather than in-person lots. Some departments auction directly through public sale events a few times a year, while others contract with third-party remarketing companies that specialize entirely in moving decommissioned fleet vehicles. The key is understanding that this is a recurring market, not a one-time event. New batches of vehicles get decommissioned on a rolling basis as departments rotate out aging units, which means there's always fresh inventory if you know where to keep checking. It also helps to understand the auction process itself, because it works differently than buying from a dealership or a private seller. Most of these auctions are sealed bid or live online bid formats, where vehicles are sold completely as is, with no warranty and no test drive in many cases. That sounds intimidating at first, but it's actually part of why the prices stay so low. Buyers who aren't comfortable with uncertainty tend to avoid these auctions entirely, which thins out the competition even further for buyers who do their homework. Many auction listings include condition reports, mileage, and sometimes partial maintenance records, especially for vehicles coming from larger, well-organized fleets. Reading those reports carefully and knowing what red flags to look for, like accident history or excessive idle hours, is the difference between landing a genuine gold mine and ending up with a vehicle that was retired for good reason. One detail that surprises a lot of first-time buyers is just how thorough fleet maintenance records tend to be compared to anything you'd get from a private seller. Government fleets are required to document service intervals because taxpayer dollars are involved, and because liability concerns mean these vehicles simply cannot be allowed to fail unexpectedly. Oil changes, brake replacements, transmission services, all of it tends to be logged with dates and mileage in a way that private owners almost never bother with. When you're able to pull even a partial service history on one of these vehicles, you're getting a level of transparency that's almost unheard of anywhere else in the used vehicle market. It's also worth addressing the most common hesitation buyers have, which is wear and tear from heavy use. Yes, these vehicles often accumulate idle hours, stop-and-go driving, and constant short trips that can add wear beyond the odometer alone suggests. But this is exactly why the underlying engineering matters so much. These platforms weren't built with standard consumer expectations in mind. They were built with reinforced cooling systems specifically because manufacturers knew these vehicles would idle for hours on traffic stops. They were built with heavy-duty alternators because departments knew radios, light bars, and laptops would be running constantly. In other words, the wear these vehicles experience is exactly the kind of wear they were engineered to handle. A civilian vehicle subjected to the same use pattern would likely fail far sooner. There's also a financing and insurance angle worth mentioning. Because many of these vehicles come from auction with a salvage, fleet, or government title designation depending on the state and seller, it's worth checking with your insurance provider before bidding, since some insurers handle these titles differently than a standard clean title. This isn't a deal breaker in most cases, but it's a step many first-time fleet vehicle buyers skip, only to run into paperwork headaches after the purchase is already final. A quick phone call before bidding saves a lot of frustration later. For buyers willing to put in a little extra effort, here's a simple strategy that tends to work well. Start by identifying which surplus auction platforms operate in your state or region, since coverage varies significantly depending on where you live. Set up alerts for the specific models covered here: the Interceptor Utility, the Impala Fleet Sedan, the Crown Victoria P71, the Expedition SSV, and the Tahoe PPV, since these tend to hold their reputation for reliability across model years. When a listing appears, request whatever condition report or service history is available. Inspect photos closely for signs of frame damage or interior wear beyond normal use, and set a strict maximum bid based on comparable civilian pricing minus a reasonable discount for the unknowns. Stick to that number. Auctions can create a sense of urgency that pushes people to overbid, and the entire advantage of this strategy disappears the moment you pay anywhere close to retail. It's also smart to budget a little extra after the purchase for a full inspection and any minor reconditioning. Even the best maintained fleet vehicle benefits from fresh fluids, a brake inspection, and the thorough once-over from a trusted mechanic before it goes into daily use. This isn't because these vehicles are unreliable, it's simply good practice for any used vehicle purchase, and it gives you peace of mind on top of the savings you already locked in at auction. What makes this whole category so compelling isn't just a price tag, it's the combination of price, documented maintenance, and platforms that were engineered from the ground up to survive abuse most consumer vehicles never have to face. While everyone else is competing over the same handful of listings on mainstream marketplaces, fighting over inflated prices driven by limited supply and high demand, an entirely different inventory of well-maintained, mechanically proven vehicles sits quietly in surplus lots, waiting for buyers who know to look there. That's the real secret behind fleet vehicle deals. It was never about finding a hidden gem through luck. It's about knowing where the rest of the market simply isn't paying attention.